9 weirdest habits of the most brilliant people in history. 1. Albert Einstein loved sailing, but had no idea how to. He couldn't swim or operate a boat. Einstein often floated his boat in Peconic Bay. Once he ended up stranded in Connecticut. Einstein regularly crashed his boat into others. He had to be rescued from drowning. Einstein slept for 10 hours at night and had daily naps. During his naps, he held a metal spoon in his hand. He had a metal plate on the floor, right underneath. Falling asleep, Einstein would drop the spoon. It hit the plate and woke him up immediately. 2. Ludwig van Beethoven flooded his neighbors. He would pour pitchers of water over his head. This kept him awake while he was working. Eventually, the landlord sealed his floor with concrete. Beethoven had trouble keeping maids and servants. He'd throw things at them or accuse them of stealing. He also wore dirty clothes and left food out to rot. Each morning, Beethoven drank a cup of coffee. He would count out exactly 60 coffee beans. 3. Maya Angelou never worked at home. Each morning she would leave for a hotel. She wrote while lying on the bed. Everything had to be removed from the walls. In her room, Angelou kept a dictionary and a Bible. She also had a deck of cards and a bottle of sherry. Angelou never allowed her room to be cleaned. Once the hotel staff noticed her sheets were moldy, Angelou refused to change them. She would work until exactly 2 p.m. She then put the work completely out of her mind. 4. Honore de Balzac drank 50 cups of coffee per day. He wrote,
"Were it not for coffee, one could not write, which is to say one could not live."
He once claimed to work 48 hours with 3-hour rest. Balzac suffered from stomach pains. At 51, he passed away of congestive heart failure. His caffeine addiction might have been the cause. 5. Nikola Tesla slept 2 hours a day. He began working at 3 a.m. and continued until 11 p.m. Tesla suffered a mental breakdown at age 25. Still, he worked 38 years without a break in his schedule. Before going to bed, Tesla would curl his toes 100 times. He believed it boosted his brain cells. Tesla loved numbers divisible by 3. He wouldn't stay in a hotel room with a different number. Tesla preferred the company of pigeons to people. One bird came to his hotel room every day. Tesla claimed he loved it more than any person. 6. Agatha Christie didn't work at a desk. She never even had an office. Christie would ride wherever she felt like it. This could range from a kitchen table to a hotel room. Still, Christie always used a typewriter. She sometimes began writing before she even had a plot. 7. Charles Dickens was obsessed with details. He kept a specific arrangement in his study. He always had a vase of flowers and a paper knife. He also kept a bronze statuette of 2 toads wielding swords. Dickens dictated his work to an assistant. He would go through each sentence multiple times. Dickens also obsessively combed his hair. He hated having even a single strand out of place. 8. Anthony Trollope only wrote for 3 hours a day. He paid a servant extra to wake him up at 5 a.m. Trollope wrote about 250 words every 15 minutes. Once he finished a book, he'd immediately begin another. At 8 a.m., Trollope would go to work. 9. Jane Austen preferred to be alone while working. She didn't like to share her work before it was finished. Austen wrote in the dining room of her family's cottage. She ensured that the hinges on the door creaked. She could hear if anyone was coming into the room.